Hi Libra, welcome to your April 2018 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here, and shuffling the cards. Going to use the Rider-Waite deck, and the challenge position card will be from the Wild Unknown Tarot. That's that deck. Wow, you got a lot of major cards here, major arcana cards. I'm just collecting the rest of these cards here. Okay. For the heart of the matter, we have the, I don't know if this is because I'm Page of Pentacles. I just want to see if there's a shadow on this side. It's hard, it's easier to hold it like this. This is you perfecting your craft. Now it's funny because I could see you doing something. Maybe you're getting certification for something, or doing an internship, an apprenticeship, and you're doing this in order to advance in your career. In other words, sometimes I think it can just be that you're hard at work. In personal relationships, it can be working at a relationship and trying to make this relationship work. And sometimes even in the upright position, to me, it's like, because it's a card of working hard, it can indicate sometimes to me that it's a one-way street where you're doing all of that work and the other person is doing their thing wherever they are. And since you're a Libra, you should know better than anyone about balance and whether or not it's something that is being reciprocated or if it's just something that you're pouring your energy into. What crosses you is represented by the Moon card. So it's like what you don't know can hurt you, you know. There may be some extenuating factors that are not figuring into the picture. And the example would be if your boss told you, well, you can't get the promotion because you don't have this certification, and you went out and you got it, and little did you know that that's just an excuse, and that really he or she is hiring somebody that they know, or that they just feel like is on the same page with them, but maybe you've been there longer, so it doesn't look good, and so they're making excuses on that level. Something along those lines. In your personal relationship, it would be that you're trying hard at something, not knowing that this other person isn't trying. Maybe they're deceiving you. The Moon card can indicate deception, especially in the reverse position. And sometimes it's self-delusion. You're deceiving yourself. And you're like totally, sometimes you may be totally in la-la land, and you think that a certain situation is one way, and really it's totally, totally not what you think. And so the point being that you may be on the wrong track if you're trying to make something work and you're not seeing the red flags. Now, obviously, this is a general reading, so this may not apply to everyone in a relationship, you know, or any aspect of this. So it has to be something that seems that it makes sense to you. Also, the moon card is actually connected to Pisces. So if you're involved with a Pisces or even a Cancer, which I could see even more so with a Libra person, that could be a person that it's not in sync with you, maybe. At the cause of all this is the Page of Pentacles. So this is the card of the student. Going back to the Eight of Pentacles, that you have made that decision to go back to school or to get a training. It's a beginning of something new, maybe a new job, and because it's a new job, you're required to get this sort of training. But just keep vigilant. Don't assume that if you do this, that anything is going to come of it. But you know what? It doesn't matter. If you really like what you're doing, you can take those skills anywhere. So don't feel that if it doesn't quote unquote pay off where you are, that it means anything. The Page of Pentacles can indicate receiving a small amount of money, which you may use for school. Maybe you got a stipend or whatever you call it. Not a stipend, but the ability, some kind of a waiver so that you could go to a training program or something along those lines. But it's these are two practical cards. It's actually interesting that the moon card is sandwiched in between them, because the moon card, that gets in the way of all of your constructive endeavors. I mean, whatever these things are, they're very positive. And what you have to do is get out of your own head and stop allowing worry and confusion to get the best of you. This is also a card, the moon card can be a card of addiction, so that may interfere with positive plans for someone who that resonates with. As a matter of fact, we have here a card of addiction. The Devil card is a card of compulsive behavior, and it's obviously, I was thinking, is there such a thing as compulsive behavior that's good, or is it always something that's detrimental? That's a good question, because the very word compulsive means that you can't help yourself. But what if you can't help yourself and you love to eat kale or something? That might not be so bad. You're a kale addict. But anyway, the Devil card is suggesting that something is holding you back, and this is a spiritual problem. It's not just a material problem, it's a spiritual problem. Actually, when AA says that it's a disease, that people get like certain ideas in their head about what disease means. A medical condition. Yeah, you could say it can be a medical condition. But there's that spiritual component of like what is amiss in a person's life. If, one thing that you have to understand too is that the Devil card can relate to excessive materialism. So I'm getting those two pentacles. The person is hard at work. Maybe you're an artist and you're trying to fit into a corporate environment because it pays well. I mean, that could be what the moon card in the challenge position is, that you're suppressing those talents. And a Libra person a lot of times will be very connected to the arts. And yet you like nice things. So you may say, I'm not going to be a broke artist. I'm going to be a rich affluent corporate whatever. And Libra probably could fit into that kind of environment very well, because they tend to have great social skills, and they, good schmooze artists. And so you could really clean up, but are you happy? You know, I think that these cards, though, to me, indicate something positive. So maybe it's your private life. Maybe you have a great career going on for you, but then in your private life, that is interfering with things because you're, that's where you struggle. It does seem that that's how life works. It's like you specialize in one area and you're really good at it, and then the other area is like problematic. So, you know, what can I say? Maybe that's something that some Librans need to work on. What's coming in is represented by the Tower card, and we all know that lovely Tower card. The card of sudden change, kind of like the catalyst for change. Now, as I record this, I'm recording this before the blue moon, which is a full moon, second full moon in March, in your sign. And you might be actually listening to this or watching this before then. So that could be, even though we're messing with timelines here, if I'm making this video on March 22nd, you know, that is the future. So just keep those timelines fluid. That might be something that kind of like blows everything wide open, because full moons can bring things to a head. They can bring out secrets, you know, and things to the surface. Even, I mean, this is true with the physical body, that there's a detoxing effect at the time of the full moon and the 2 weeks after that. So detoxing your life on a very, you know, radical level. So you may realize certain things. And I mean, because outer events intervene, they may, you know, bam, something changes, something is revealed. And that's where secret's revealed. Maybe that's that moon in your sign, full moon. But it's a challenging one, because it's going to be like a very, maybe it'll be like a real revelation to you. Oh, you know, and also, no, I'll just leave it there. I think that's good enough. But the outcome is the Lover's card. So what can this mean? Well, in business situations, if you are in a situation where it just doesn't work out for you, you may be joining forces with another person and going into business on your own. If there's something that gets revealed that, you know, you're working diligently, and then you find out, oh no, you're not getting the promotion after all. And you said, after I put in this money and I put in this time, are you kidding me? And then you're just like, you're out of there, but you are joining forces with somebody else, maybe another worker who feels the oppressive environment. In personal relationships, maybe you're the one. The Devil card relates to you, you know, having a hard time letting go of someone. And, you know, it's possible maybe you have tried to make a marriage work, and yet there was somebody that you were perhaps cheating with. I don't know. Saying this, I'm not saying this in a cavalier way, so please don't write to me. I'm just wondering if that's true for some people, because this is a card, the Lover's card is a card also. I want to get out of these shadows. Never had that happen before. Of two people joining forces in an intimate way, you know. Sexual is just one of the possibilities. It's also, there's, so, you know, like a soulmate type of relationship. This card connects to Gemini, another air sign. So perhaps that's who you're meeting and getting involved with. Yeah, maybe you're just meeting this person. But in any case, I like the Lover's card more than the Devil card, that's for sure. You actually have some nice cards here. The Tower and the Devil are intense, but they don't mean what a lot of people think they mean. The Devil card isn't about evil, it's about our lower nature. And, you know, we have a shadow side. We have to own that. I think Librans are uncomfortable with their shadow. And so they try to just like really schmooze it up some more. And you have to be able to be okay with those parts of you that you reject. And then the Tower, again, I totally can see how Libra would attract these two cards, because Libra, you know, wanting to make nice, wanting to have everybody happy, everything is on the surface, and then it's like, wow. One thing I want to tell you about this too is that this could be, the Tower card could also be about, you know, you're working on your marriage and the person out of the blue says, I want a divorce, or something like that. You think you're trying very hard and the person says, I want a divorce. And you're like, I never saw it coming. Like those videos on YouTube, my husband is leaving me. I never saw it coming. I don't believe that. I mean, and if the person honestly means that, then they were in a superficial relationship, most likely. Or their spouse is very, very out of touch with their own feelings to the point that it had to take a crisis for them to admit it to themselves. And either way, it's better off to clear the air. That's what the Tower is all about. It clears the air. Sorry. And it makes it much more, makes things more honest, more open, and ultimately that's what you want in a relationship. And with workplace matters too. It's like you want to have harmony in your workplace. You don't want secrets. You don't want to work someplace just because you're a slave to the money. We need money to live, but sometimes people are not happy where they're working, and they just turn off they turn off their feelings in order to tolerate it, to stomach it. And sometimes, you know, the Tower can indicate like some even a physical reaction or crisis. How many people stuff their feelings and then they have to pay for it later? So the best thing is just to really get in touch with your feelings, not just intellectualize them or analyze them, but really connect with them at a visceral level and admit to yourself if you're unhappy and you want to change. Even admit if you're stuck. You know, the Devil card could be you being stuck and having a hard time doing that. But the Lover's card is a card of joining forces with somebody else. And Librans especially, this is kind of like your specialty, is that you rule the 7th house of partnership. And a lot of people think of marriage, and that's a big one, but also partnering up with somebody, because you tend to like to work with somebody rather than alone. But you may want to work independently, so that may be a great compromise, is working, you know, getting a partner. Okay, Libra, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I wish you all the best in April. If you'd like a private reading, there's a link to my website below. Take care. Bye.